Well, good evening, Chameleon Academy. Welcome to the last live show before Madagascar. Next time we meet will be January 31st. If you're watching this on replay, just know that this happens every Tuesday, except for the rest of January. And you can be here live, but come back in February. And then you can join us. I'm going to be in Madagascar. And so we're going to be taking a little bit of a sabbatical, a little bit of a break from doing live sessions. But I will be posting a lot of stuff while I'm in Madagascar. So we won't be apart. Let's see. Let's make it sure. All right. Holly says, got my first Dragon Strand shipped to me this week. Yeah. Yes, hello, everybody. All right, Steve, Holly, Geraldine. Yep, Geraldine, Tony, and me are competing to see who can get packed first. And Geraldine's ahead, I think. Geraldine's ahead. All right, saying hello to everybody. Stephanie Payne, hello. It is so good to see you. So glad you got all packed, but I got nothing packed. Oh, hey. Only cams. Yes, my Parsons found their home. I asked if I had rehomed my Parsons. Yes, they have found their new home. And Ashley, very good to hear. Glad you're excited. Got to play with Dragon Legends now. And so, all right, everybody. This is the day. You can imagine that my brain is fried. I am trying to get ready, which means I am now discovering everything that I do manually without thinking about it, because now I have to get everything ready for my daughter and wife, Yvette, to take over for me. And so, yeah, I'm doing a lot. But you know what? When I get back, I'm going to have everything really nicely done for me, waiting for when I get back. Yes. When do you all? We actually leave next week, early next week. I'm going to be at the airport at 4 a.m. Hey, we got Yvette here. Yeah. So what the heck, Wayne Abides, what are you doing here so early? But good to see you. And good to see Marcia and Renee here. Oh. Whew. All right, everybody. You remember last time we were talking about books, and we're talking about that there was, if you order it from Amazon, this is corrected. If you order it from Mixum, which is the first place to order it, which I don't have links to that anymore, but if you got a signed copy of Tiny Dragons, let's see. I think I found where the spelling error is. No. Oh, there it is. On fogging safely. So if everybody remembers, we were talking about this. This is how you prove that you didn't write with AI, is when you make spelling mistakes, and that was the only reason I said, okay, do I maybe I shouldn't correct this. But yeah, fog only when it's cool. I say, let's see. Oh, now I've lost it again. Oh, this sounds helpful. Aunt he surface. Yeah, I switched that space in the T. And that happened, by the way, everybody, that happened after my editor took a look at it. And I decided I'm going to add in a couple more pages. And I'll just be careful. Yeah, that's why we got editors. All right. Leave it. You proof you are real and not a robot. Yeah, well, I corrected it for the Amazon version. So only you who got the signed version, or if you guys want to buy it from the original publisher, I can give you the link. I can give you that link. and you can still buy it. And you can get it with the spelling error. Really, everybody loves it. Oh, leave it because it makes it authentic. All right, everybody. I will, if anybody wants to purchase the book that has the error, so you have the original, you just let me know and I will send you a link. It is still, you still can buy it. So James is going to highlight it in my book. Oh, boy. Yeah. Fun times. And remember, everybody, we were we were trying to find that book, Chameleons of Africa, and we're having a really hard time because there's only one printing of Chameleon books, and then it's gone. I got the cheap version. You got the corrected version. Oh, now I've created collector's editions. Oh my gosh. All right, fine. I'm going to give whoever wants the link, but if you got it from Amazon, you got the corrected version. Jeez. All right. But for those of you who want the one that has the error, I just put the link into the, gosh, now I feel bad. Now I actually feel bad for people getting the corrected version. Oh boy. All right, fine. Only our community wants Bill's original typo. I like, yes. Oh boy. All right. It's page 78, Eliza Ann. Page 78. You can find it. Okay. We were talking about books. Remember this book, Mountain Dragons. If you don't have this book, go to dragonstrand.com. This is written by Jan Stapala, who is in England. And so I said I wanted to distribute his books in the United States. And so I have the last 30 books that exist. I am very sad that we have come to the end of this run. I've carried this for many years, but eventually they run out. So this was not a print on demand book. This was a published book, and the entire run sat in Jan's garage. And now this is it. I have the last 30 books. And so go to dragonstrand.com. I'll even pull up a link. I'm just encouraging you all. This is such a great book, which is why I was carrying it. And I'm just saying, get it now while you can, because once these books are no longer available, they just disappear. And you know why. It's because there isn't enough of a market to do a second printing, but a book like this, people don't get rid of it. They cherish it, they keep it. And so we don't have a whole lot of the really good Chameleon books on the used bookstores because we hoard them. That's what we do. We Chameleon people are book hoarders, especially with the good books. And this is one of the good books. So get it while you can. And of course, I'm not going to talk about it once they're gone. So this is a limit. This is for you all in this little moment of time. It's available. Once they're gone, I won't talk about it anymore because, hey, I can't supply them. But just letting you know, now's the time. If you want this book, it's an incredible book. I mean, look at all the pictures inside. I mean, this is a gorgeous book to look at. That's the Machako Sills Jackson's Chameleon, because it's all about the chameleons in the highlands of Kenya. Gorgeous, gorgeous book. So snag it. That is what I say. In Chameleons, after you get it set up, get yourself a solar meter, get yourself a microscope, and then snag mountain dragons and tiny dragons. That's my list. What you should do. So, Stephanie Payne, get it now, or else you'll want it. It will be $600. That's right. Alex is signing his. Oh, okay. It's under a 5,000 now. All right. I love that. I love that. Okay. Okay, so we order from the link. No, unfortunately, there are no more signed books because for them to be signed, they have to actually come to me first, which means there's like two shipping, you got to pay shipping twice. And so it's kind of, that the signed one, you're going to get the same copy as the one that I signed, but the signature, it has to come to me first, and then so you double the shipping, it just gets really expensive. So it's kind of hard to do. So these chameleons changed my life. They make me buy books and things. I've only had hot rod books my whole life. Although, by the way, but if you buy the Mountain Dragons, these are signed. So those are signed by the author. Eric says, I have that book. Love having that book on my coffee table. Every guest gets drawn to it. It's awesome. Love it. Can't find it. What's that error again? Okay, everybody. Looks like we have some legitimate chameleon questions. And so I'm going to get to you. All right, Eliza. And let's see. I think it's page 78. And it's in the first paragraph of Fog Only When It's Cool. All right, first paragraph and third line. Okay, just going through. So we would have to mail it to you. If we got enough people, like if we got 10 people, okay, here, I'll put this out. If we get 10 people, that kind of brings the shipping cost down enough to where it's reasonable for me to purchase 10, bring them in, and then sign them and ship them back out to you guys. And so if there's 10 people out there that would like to do this, let me know. I'll get a price quote. You can email me at bill@chameleonacademy.com. And I mean, I'd love to make that happen. It'd be really cool. I love signing them, and that's a lot of fun. We just need enough people. So guys, email me and I'll put together a list. And if we can gather 10 people, I'll bring them in, I'll sign them, and I'll get you a price quote. I mean, I'm not gonna, certainly not gonna gouge you. I love the fact that you want this signed, and so I will be very happy to get it to you as efficiently as possible. All right. Okay, if there's 10 people, email me. I would love. I'll get a list together. I would love to do this. Another signing party. Yes, everybody. You guys could go back and you can see we had a signing party. I will have another mini signing party. Okay, I'll have a mini signing party. It'll be fun. It's a spacing error. It is. I switched the space and the T. So to be fair, it's not a spelling error, but a spacing error. That is correct. That is correct. Mm-hmm. How many dollars? Let's see. You have to. Okay, how many dollars? It's $49, and that includes. We're talking about Mountain Dragons. Wayne Abides asked about Mountain Dragons. This is $49, including shipping to the continental USA. Okay, so we actually have a question about coccidia. I'm gonna need. Nancy, for anybody wanting, just look on this on the screen, and there is a ticker going across the bottom. bill@chameleonacademy.com. So, let's start. Oh, we have some great questions about parasites on the Instagram. Wonderful. Coccidia Help recently, about 6 weeks ago, adopted a 4-month-old male veiled chameleon. I'm a third-year vet student, so running fecals are in my nature. Excellent. That is perfect. That's what you want to do. Done 3 rounds of Panazerol. Quarantine takes the tank. Yeah, that's okay. You got to break it up on Instagram. Haven't been able to move him into his amazing hybrid enclosure because of the coccidia. None of my branches overlap. Okay. Let's talk coccidia, and then the Jess Zoo comes on. What do you think about a low level of pinworms in a chameleon? Would you treat it or let it be? Test results, low but positive. Okay. I'm going to answer the Jess Zoo first because Apinda, we're going to have a long talk about coccidia. That's awesome. But the Jess Zoo, that's a simple question. Jess Zoo, I will say it's best to treat. A low level of pinworms is not dangerous, but a high level of pinworms is. And the problem is that pinworms have a direct life cycle. And so it's very easy in captivity for the ova to get up and reinfect the chameleon because the pinworms are producing enough ova and reproductive material to fall to the ground in Madagascar, and they're assuming that most of those is going to die, and so they have to produce enough ova that a couple will get into a chameleon's mouth. It's a long way from the forest floor up to a chameleon, and so it's pretty complicated for a microscopic thing to get into the right mouth, and so they produce a lot of ova. The problem is in a cage, we all of a sudden take that incredible production that's meant for the wilds of Madagascar and we put it right into a small area. Not only that, we put the food items into that small area. So all it takes is one cricket to jump out and then get into the poop and then be eaten. And you have a super dose of ova that's completely unnatural. So I always recommend treating. Now, there are caveats, and we have to be so if I was someone's asking me the question, that is the answer. Now, since we're on a live session and I can explain some nuances, I will say that if you are smart about your husbandry and you break the life cycle, it's not as dangerous. And I got to be really careful when I say that because you have to understand parasitic life cycles. So you can break the life cycle in 2 major ways. First of all, there's 3 ways to break the life cycle. You clean up the poop right away. That way you get rid of all the infectious material, and you hand feed and you make sure that no feeder insect escapes. You've just broken the life cycle in 2 places. Now, we can never be 100%. The poop drops and it splatters. Okay, there's some over there. You can never be totally certain that you'll never lose a feeder or that the chameleon, for whatever reason, they lick branches. So there are ways that it can happen, but you've drastically reduced it. And so in that case, if you are cognitive and you are deliberate in your husbandry, you can get away with low levels of parasite load that don't reinfect. Now, I'm not going to put that in writing because people are going to say, oh, okay, Bill said don't treat. And then they do horrible husbandry and then their chameleon dies because of parasite overload. So I'll only say this when I'm able to explain it. Now, that being said, the treatment for pinworms is fenbendazole. Generally, there's some others, but generally speaking, it's fenbendazole, Panacur, and that is one of the safest drugs. And so it is so safe that there's actually no reason not to treat. When you have flagellated protozoa, then it's time. Okay, metronidazole or Flagyl, that really does a lot. That cleans out all the good the good flora, the bad flora. It really cleans out a system. And so when I get flagellated protozoa, I'm careful about, okay, is the animal healthy? Can it handle this treatment? But when it comes to nematodes like pinworms, Panacur is so safe. And by the way, little bit of trivia: the reason why it's safe is because it isn't effectively uh, absorbed into the bloodstream. It stays in the gastrointestinal tract, which means that it doesn't have a chance to breach the blood-brain barrier like metronidazole would. And that's why you hear about ivermectin. That's another drug that we use for nematodes. Well, why don't we use that more often? Well, because it gets into the bloodstream. And once it gets into the bloodstream, it's now going into all the organs and the brain. And that's when it becomes dangerous. So fenbendazole, Panacur, stays in the gut. And so that's why it's so safe. So with pinworms, there's no reason not to treat pinworms. Okay. There's always a reason. I can't ever say never. If you have, we have something called necrotic shock. And if there's so many pinworms that you killing them produces this big toxic mess of dead bodies, then it's not a good idea. You got to be careful. So it's always good to have a vet because there's strategy involved in this. So, okay, we have a coccidia question, and I love coccidia. I love to hate coccidia, so let's talk. Okay, his Pinda. I'm just going to guess at that name. Okay, Chameleon actually had hookworms, pinworms, and coccidia. What a fun time. Yeah, okay. At least hookworms and pinworms can be treated with fenbendazole. Let's see. Yeah, Jess, with pinworms, that's one of the easiest things to take care of. Just give them, and Panacur, depending upon how your vet does it, there's different dosages, but generally speaking, it's like one dose, and then in 2 weeks, you do another dose, and you're done. To be safe, do it 3 times, 2 weeks apart. And so it's not traumatic for your chameleon. Like metronidazole, doing it once a day for 5 days, yeah, your chameleon starts to hate you. But with fenbendazole, Panacur, there's no reason not to do it. Get rid of that pinworm. So, all right. So coccidia, let's see. What was the actual question? What else to do? Okay. Let's talk coccidia. While I'm sitting here talking parasites, the people on the YouTube live are just going crazy. And James is talking about falling down a mountain, climbing tree. Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to get back to this, the chat on YouTube. YouTube live people, I'm coming. I'm going to come back. Don't do anything terrible while I'm gone. But okay. So coccidia. The problem with coccidia is that the oocysts are just so hard to kill. But you can kill them with pinazarole, toltrazurol. You can kill them. And so what I do with coccidia, what I would suggest is that you have a bare bottom cage. That's the one thing. If you have soil, then you're never getting rid of the coccidia. It's going to be in there forever. So I would say get rid of any soil and have a bare bottom. And as you were doing, you said, make sure that my sticks aren't under each other. This is my typical quarantine setup, is that I'll have a 4-foot tall cage. And I like having the tall cage. The reason is because I want the chameleon up here and the poop down here. This is why we chameleon people have it so much better than the bearded dragon people or leopard gecko people. Our reptiles don't run around in the poop and spread it all over the place. So we're kind of lucky in that way. And take advantage of that. Get a real high cage, bare bottom, and then a couple of sticks up above. I like to put live plants. I know people don't like to put live plants, and they say, oh, there's going to be parasites and stuff. What I do is I put live plants up front and all of the sticks in back. And so the live plants are a visual break for the chameleon in back. And that way the chameleon feels safe. They don't have to crawl all over the plants. They have a visual barrier where they can feel safe behind the plants. And so they don't have a reason to come up to the plants. And then all of the branches in the back, None of them are below the other one. So any poop, as much as is possible, goes all the way down. And then it's just Panazerol. Do your clean up all of the, be very good at cleaning up the bottom, and make sure your feeders in the feeder run cup don't get out. And so monitor the feeding. If you can hand feed, depending upon how your chameleon is. Some chameleons have no problem hand feeding. That's the best way to do it. Just feed before you go and grab poop from the bottom. And that's actually, remember, I said there's 3 ways to break the life cycle. One is cleaning up all of the fecal matter, so getting rid of all the reproductive material. 2 is monitor the feeding, make sure that no feeders get away, that it all gets eaten. And the 3rd is the medication. So you're killing the adults, the reproductive adults. You're eliminating the reproductive material. You're breaking the path back to the host. And then you're eliminating the adults in the chameleon that create the reproductive material. And if you can do one insanely well, then you've broken the life cycle. If you can do, but we can never do it 100%. If you can do 2 insanely well, then you have doubly broken the life cycle. And if you can do 3, then you've got like the trifecta, and that's how the parasites get hit. Now the thing, okay, so this is the key to what you said, apineta. As since you have a microscope, this is where it gets easy. This is why I say get a microscope. This is why I created the course, Hunting Microscopic Chameleon Parasites. Anybody wants to learn this, go to chameleonacademy.com. There is a digital course that I put together that tells you all about microscopes. You come with 0 knowledge, and it will help you buy a microscope, tell you what you need to look for, and then tell you how to find parasites. And the reason why this is so important, and the reason why Apineta is going to be able to beat this with no sweat, is because he or she can monitor whenever there is an infection. This is the way I say about parasites. It's not a single event that we win. It's a condition that we manage through our entire life of our reptiles. It's just a natural condition. It's not a huge, oh my gosh, are my parasites. It's just a natural condition, and we manage it, and you manage it by a microscope. And so if you are able to, you're already doing fecals all the time. As soon as you see a little bit of coccidia, knock it down. And if 5 months later you're getting a little bit of coccidia again, knock it down. That's what I do. And you knock it down before it gets anywhere near noticeable to the health of your chameleon. That's the wonderful thing about having a microscope and a very good relationship with a vet. And so, any other questions about parasites that I didn't check, that I didn't answer, put it down there. So when you were in Madagascar, did you see individuals that you could visually tell were dealing with a parasite load? They probably all had parasites. The thing is, I never saw a chameleon that was just sitting there with that had internal distress. And the thing is, there's no way to tell if it's an infection, parasitic, bacterial, fungal, and all that kind of stuff. The only time you can really tell is when you get subcutaneous nematodes, and so you see them under the skin. But I did not see any of those. Currently hand feeding 1 at a time. Excellent. Then I have paper towels. I toss the paper towels immediately. Maybe I'm not doing enough Nazarol. Coccidia is an insidious thing, and it's not easy to knock down. So yeah, the Panazerol is once and then another 48 hours. But the thing is, you can do it again. Panazerol really isn't that hard on chameleons. So just what I would do is just continue on like you are. And after a while, sooner or later, there will be no more coccidia. And so, or maybe there's still some left. But if you're hand feeding, eventually the coccidia is just not going to come back, because coccidia is, at least with my understanding and the understanding of what I can gather, is it self-limiting. It's not like nematodes where the adults stay in the system for their entire life for years and years and years and produce ova. When the coccidia protozoa get in, they literally change. They multiply, but then they change into the form that goes out of the chameleon. And so coccidia, for it to continue, needs constant reintroduction. And if anybody has any information, any paper that says otherwise, let me know. I'd be very interested in that. But so what you're doing, you should be able to knock it down. All right, let me go to the YouTube live. I have not been supervising the YouTube live channel, and that it's kind of a rowdy group over there. So yes, everybody, this is being simulcast on Instagram and on Chameleon Academy live YouTube channel. There's 2 Chameleon Academy channels. Chameleon Academy, which is for videos, and Chameleon Academy Live, which is for the live show. All right, let me see what I've got here. How about James make a wooden bookmark to go with it? Well, I will say if I get enough people that want a signed copy, I will send an official Chameleon Academy 10th anniversary celebration bookmark with your order. All right, let's do. Are wild cams more likely to be higher up, like higher than the 4 foot would typically have in captivity? It depends on the species. There are some chameleons that love the canopy, and some chameleons that love the lower levels. It really is depending upon species. Panther chameleons, the most common, they're all over the place. They ain't got a special place. They're in the trees. They're in the mid-level. They are running around on the ground. They're on fences. They're everywhere. They're like the pigeons of the chameleon world. When you have a male bifidus that actually likes cruising the bottom. Oh, yeah, I have one chameleon. Antilles, if you remember, he will not settle down. That guy is all over the place. Driving me crazy. That's it. You can use Panicure for puppies. Well, actually, yeah. Fenbendazole comes from horses. Panicure comes from horse medicine. All of our reptile medicines come from livestock, and we have to figure out how to dilute them to reptiles. We don't have any reptile medicine. None of the stuff that we have is for reptiles. It's all about because there's not enough money in it. Nobody's going to make a medicine for reptiles. They make medicine for livestock, and the vets just have to sit there and figure out, all right, how do I dilute this thing that's meant for a horse for a little 5-gram lizard? And so that's why our vets are kind of our heroes, because they're on the front lines trying to figure all this out. In fact, all of the companies say, don't use this for anything else but horses and livestock. And our vets say, we're going to do it anyways. Bill wouldn't let me climb any trees. Yes, this is correct. When we went to Madagascar, I did not let James climb any trees. That's right. Let's see. So you're saying that even without treatment, with a completely fresh cage, hand-fed insects, the coccidia infection will leave the chameleon on its own. Tree lizards? Hypothetically, that would be correct. It would be because if you look at the life cycle does not have, of a coccidia, does not have adults sitting in the chameleon and producing ova or anything. The life cycle has transformation. Every part of the coccidia transforms into something else, and it multiplies and multiplies and multiplies to go out. So theoretically, if you look at the life cycle, that's That is the conclusion that one would have to make. Now, they make tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of oocysts to make sure that they just blanket the entire world with oocysts. So that's why it's really hard to get rid of it. And those oocysts do not die. Okay, high temperatures, steam can kill them. But other than that, even our bleach and things like that, oocysts don't care about that. So it's really they're all over the place. But that is my analysis of it. I will say I have not heard anybody else say that, but I've also saying that I haven't yet had a scientist be able to explain to me where my logic is faulty. So you take it for what it's worth. Maybe you heard it here first, or else it's going to be in a year. I'm going to say, all right, I finally figured out where I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong yet. And I will say it's interesting that I don't find these. I'm still working on it, working on whether I find coccidia. I need to get a chameleon that brumates and that has coccidia going into brumation. I want to see what happens by the end of brumation if they still have coccidia, because they don't eat as long as I get them to poop. So anyway, there you go, tree lizards. I am looking for somebody to tell me I am wrong and tell me how I am wrong. Because if I am right, then that is a great insight for those of us who are battling coccidia. So this is why we think about these kind of things. Want another little fun thing to think about? Hookworm. In human beings, it can travel 4 feet. That's why latrines are dug 6 feet down. Because the hookworm larvae who go out looking for the next host can travel for 4 feet. So the reason why they can do that is they can get up on blades of grass, and they do this thing called questing, where they're just waiting for a new host to come around, and they latch on, and then they go in through a hair follicle, get into the bloodstream, and then they infect the human. Well, what do reptile hookworms do? Well, can they go through the skin? Because there's no entryway in the scales. So the question is, did hookworms separate between reptiles and humans before they were able to go through the skin, or after? Good question. Why does that matter? Because if the hookworms can go through the skin in reptiles like they do in humans, then can they travel 4 feet looking for a host? So all of a sudden you say, wait a minute. We aren't used to the thought process that the parasites could actually be hunting down our chameleon. Our cages are 4 foot tall, right? So, question, which I don't, by the way, I'm saying this is what happens when you start thinking about it. I have no papers out there that I have found or that I can reference that prove or disprove that reptile hookworms go through the skin. Once again, if anybody finds that, please let me know. But you can see how suddenly that becomes very relevant to those of us involved in chameleon husbandry. Well, wait a minute. You're telling me that the hookworm larvae can travel essentially the entire length of the cage? Okay, now we've got a husbandry issue that we didn't expect before. So, once again, everybody, I'm not saying that this is the case. I'm saying that all the pieces are in place, and somebody out there, all of you people who are young and saying, what am I going to do with my life? Please be a chameleon scientist, okay, and find these things out. Because that would be a very interesting world that we discover if we discover that parasites are now coming after our chameleons. All right. Jim says, hey, Bill, glad to catch a live stream. Was just talking to my wife how I missed watching your videos. Glad you found us. Yeah. Roman, the Uplands, better late than never. Very glad to have you here. All right, let's see. Let's get back to that unruly YouTube. See, you guys in Instagram, you're so well behaved. You guys get a gold star. These Instagram live, these YouTube live people, nah. This is the these are the people that sit in the back of the class and shoot spitballs at each other. All right. James is talking about falling down a mountain. Yes. Okay. Yes. He did. He did. We caught him. We caught him. Brought him back. But yeah, James is a special case. Everybody, James attracted adventure. I don't know what was with James. If there was anything that was going to happen, it happened to James. Yeah. Stay off of mountains too. No, Dean. No, the mountains are safe except if you're James. The mountain spirits love James, just like the lemurs love James, just like the police officer loved James. It's always James. So you know what, Geraldine and Tony, we may have a boring trip. I mean, the spirits may just say, "What's this?" and just leave us alone, and we're just going to have a nice boring trip where we see a bunch of chameleons and the lemurs will come over and be cute and stuff. They'll be saying we're saving up for when James comes back. Yeah. Let's see. Wayne Bees is asking, what about a soil bottom with isopods and springtails? Can that affect the parasite life cycle from what we know? It can if the chameleon eats the isopods, because the isopods would be running around eating the poop and such. So the parasites wouldn't infect the isopods, but they would be infectious to the chameleon if the parasite was going through the tract of the isopod when it was eaten, or if the parasites got onto the legs of the isopod and then were eaten. So anytime you have an insect, the insect becomes a vector, becomes a carrier of the parasite, because they're looking for a ride to the chameleon's mouth. Tree lizards, do you know about the holding process of wild-caught chameleons before exportation, causing them to arrive overcome with parasites? It's just stressful. Because the biggest danger to parasites, the biggest killer of parasites, is the chameleon's immune system. The parasites try so hard to avoid the immune system. In coccidia, it hides inside of cells to avoid the immune system. So it's the immune system that kills the most parasites. And so when you got a chameleon in a very stressful situation, their immune system is compromised. And so not only is the immune system compromised, but they're not kept individually. So they're in this big cage with a bunch of poop that's got parasites. And then, they're not sitting there hand feeding all the chameleons. They're just throwing a bunch of food in there. So it's like, not only did they get these super doses of parasites, but then they're stressed. And so it's a really bad situation. Now, I don't know how the holding situation is these days. That's how it was before. Things have gotten much better. And when we get chameleons in now, I'm not saying it's perfect, but sometimes those chameleons come out looking like they're captive hatched. When you have an exporter and an importer working well together, it's amazing how healthy these things are. So how they are cared for in the exporter's facility makes all the difference in the world. But I tell you, some of the things that I'm getting from One World Exotica, I work with Jada Bay, One World Exotica, they come out, I could swear that these were captive hatched. And it's not going to be 100%. It's not always going to be like that, but I have seen things come out where I'm just so impressed. So things, the point is, things have gotten better. Now, they still come in with parasites. And yeah, well, that's just wild caught. They'll always come in with parasites. Thanks again, Bill. Have fun in Madagascar. I'll continue my war with Coccidia. Yes, fight that good fight. Oh. All right, let me get back to these malcontents. And that says, 2 days ago, my carpet fell or jumped off a B. Okay, there's some autocorrect there. All right. But yeah, I hope he's okay. He should be okay. They're not, chameleons aren't made of much. They're a lot of air. So, okay, let's see. I'm going through all the comments here. Oh, okay. There's the details. Annette says 2 days ago, my carpet fell or jumped off a branch while hunting an escaped cricket. I was so scared looking for him, I found him sitting on the ground munching the cricket. Oh, you got a land shark. They are going for it. The accidental roll, but I guess that is still a weakened grip. Well, yeah. Okay, so Annette got a carpet chameleon that came from not the best background, and so yeah, Annette, you're going to be finding a lot of interesting stuff that may be leftover artifacts from that care. But if you're giving them, you're giving them good care now. He's got the heat, he's got the supplements, he's got the good diet. So there may be things that he can't recover from that are permanent, but it's, from what I can see from the pictures you've posted, he's doing great. I think he's got a nice life ahead of him. Oh, Steve Hefner had to toss out an egg today that molded over. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. We kind of expect that because we're talking about Steve Hefner, who's got he's got Kaluma brevicorn. It's a rare, it's like the elephant ear. We call them flappy flaps here at the Chameleon Academy. And his female, which is actually a captive hatched female that I hatched out and sent to Steve, had a clutch of eggs, infertile, but we never give up on eggs until they mold over. So we're not expecting these to be fertile, but then again, we always hope. So we're not surprised, but we are disappointed. All right, just hang in there, Steve. We're going to get these guys. Hello, Desert Edge Chameleons. Yeah. Winnie B says, aha, looks like the YouTube crowd is the middle child. Left unattended, we raise half. Yes, this is true. We need to keep a watch on you guys. Holly says, getting my first carpet. Oh, yes, yes. You are going to have a blast. Holly is getting a captive hatched carpet chameleon, and she's going to be putting that captive hatched carpet chameleon in a large hybrid, a 4x2x4. That carpet chameleon is going to live like a king, live in paradise. That is going to be an awesome setup. All horse medicine's coming. 100-pound dosage. Yeah. Yeah. So that's where our vets have to figure out, how do I make this for a lizard? Let's see. Tree Lizards asking, are parasites in Madagascar typically host specific, or can they be transferred between species? That is different for every parasite, and we don't know the answer to that. The parasites, the microscopic parasites, are very host specific. So the pig coccidia can't infect the chameleon. And what's really important to everybody, cricket coccidia cannot infect a chameleon, but you could see cricket coccidia and it would look very much like chameleon coccidia. So you see how this could cause confusion and people thinking that cricket pinworms were chameleon pinworms and say that parasites came with their crickets. All right. So remember, let's all keep the life cycle and we keep all this in mind. But we don't know how close, like, could a coccidia from a Madagascar panther chameleon infect a veiled chameleon? Maybe. Because, and the reason why is because all of these microscopic parasites, when they get into the bloodstream, they don't have a map. They're looking for chemical cues to know where to go. How do I get where I need to be? Some parasites need to get into the lungs. Some parasites need to get into the gastrointestinal tract. How do you know when you're actually there? It's the chemicals around you. And so the parasite can't go into a body that has a different chemical makeup, or else it'll get lost. And that's called, I mean, we have this, you have plumber's itch. You go to the beach and you walk around in the beach, and then you get all these red lines on your foot and it's all scratchy. That's the dog hookworm that is close enough to our body that it can get in through a hair, but it gets confused inside. And so it just travels around the foot. It can't find the bloodstream and it can't figure out where the lungs are because we're not a dog. But it can get in enough to cause us a whole lot of pain and annoyance. So that's just, it would depend on how close the internal chemical signals of the species are. And I don't have that answer. Like, is the internal workings of a Parsons chameleon similar enough to a panther chameleon that coccidia can figure out where to go, that pinworms can figure out where to go? It's going to be different for every single parasite. So once again, all of you people who are wondering what to do with your lives, you're young people and you're looking for what to do with your life, we need you to be a chameleon scientist. Dr. Chris Anderson is a bona fide chameleon scientist in the University of South Dakota. He has a lab dedicated to all of these chameleon research topics. I am now giving you all a mission. All of you college people going into college, study biology, get your PhD, go study with Dr. Chris Anderson and figure out all of these questions. Do reptile Oswaldo cruzii, that's the lizard hookworm, does it go in through skin? Can it travel and quest like human pinworms do? Where do chameleons get vitamin A? There isn't a good answer for these things right now. So these are please go become a scientist. Go play. Oocysts are like honey badgers. They don't care. This is true. Let's see. Lele Key says, we bought our chameleon from Petco and they did not have humidity in the environment. When I tried for a week to get the humidity at night, he was just extremely mad. Yeah, chameleons don't know what to do with our foggers. They are not used to this column of fog coming out. When fog happens to chameleons in the wild, number one, usually it's at night, but it just kind of appears out of nowhere. It's not like something's coming at you. So this is a case where our application needs work. And that's why we will continue to work hard on figuring out this stuff. Nancy says, well, that gave me the heebie-jeebies. Let's see, 538. That was, oh my gosh, I am so far behind. Oh, who knows what they've been talking about on YouTube. I am so far behind. All right, let me try to catch up. Wait, do you see some parasites under the microscope? Yeah. How big of a plane do we need for a direct flight to Madagascar? Yikes. Yeah. All right, Javi's warming up the helicopter to go meet us in Madagascar. Ooh, Honelli took baby snails. Excellent. All right, so everybody on YouTube is now they're getting together a trip to Madagascar. Somebody's got a helicopter, and so mosquito will get you. And so they're all going to get a helicopter together and meet us in Madagascar. So if anybody wants to go to Madagascar in a helicopter, back of the class is for cool kids. Yeah, you remember when I was talking about the troublemakers in the back of the class? Everybody on YouTube is now identifying with that. Yeah, I know my people. I know what my people are thinking tonight. As home through the shadows they wander. each of them smiling in secret delight. They stare at the castle and ponder. And yes, I could break into song. Bill, do you have a care sheet for a carpet chameleon? No, actually, I don't think so. But really, you treat them like a panther chameleon, they'll do fine. Yeah. Don't leave undies on the floor in Madagascar unless you need content. Oh boy. James, did something get into your underwear in Madagascar? I don't remember this story. Favorite chameleon? I like the shamrock chameleon, Kaluma O'Shaughnessy. That's my favorite. That's my favorite. Are there any chameleon species that like it on the more arid side, like non-semi-tropical? Well, there's always Chameleon namaquensis, the Namaqua chameleon that trickses around on the desert floor, the Namib Desert. Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to catch up on this. What's a good microscope to buy? Javi, I think I have a video on that. I don't know off the top of my head. I don't remember. I did a lot of work on that and I put a lot of stuff down. But I love the BA310. Now I'm getting to microscope nerd stuff. How prevalent are parasites within the wild populations? All over the place. Will every wild chameleon typically have parasites to some level? Yes. Not all of them, but it is strange not to have a positive fecal from a wild caught. It's happened, and I've assumed that I've done it wrong, so I redo it. I have had chameleons come in with no parasite load. It's very strange. And you're thinking, how can that happen? Well, then again, maybe Bill's idea about self-cleanse of parasites actually has some merit. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, Amscope has some very good entry-level microscopes. This is correct. Parsons Care Guide. I'm working on that. And like I said, probably been working on a year, but I'm working on a different platform. Wienabetes, it's going to be worth it when I finally release that. Yeah. Had to jump to YouTube and join James at the back of the class. Oh man, so now James has a group, a back of the class group. Yeah, shamrocks are very cool. Oh, millipede! You had a millipede in your underwear. Yeah, okay. Once again, James. Yeah. Question by Ryan. I have a panther chameleon. Notice a bump on the lip in the mouth. Only on the inside. Looks black on that spot. Vet took a look. Said it had to be surgically removed and it might come back. Is this true? Yeah, it depends on what it is. That looks a bump on the lip in the mouth. Yeah, that's strange. If it's not a cyst or like a mouth rot, and if it's a tumor, yeah, did your vet say what it was? Because it can be a number of things, and whether it comes back or not depends on what it is. So, Ryan, let me know. Did the vet say what it was? I'd be very interested in that. Oh, Mike Taitula, I don't have stickers yet. I haven't received any stickers yet. So I still got a week. We still got a week for them to arrive. Oh, I hope they come in. I am taking stickers to Madagascar for Mr. Mike Taitula. And we are playing. I wonder how long it takes something to get from Canada to the United States. Didn't say what it was or what it could be. You know, give them a call. Give them a call and say, hey, what was this? And the question I would ask, Ryan, yourself, you're there. Is it growing? Is it expanding? Or is it just sitting there? Because if it's just sitting there, it may not be worth it. But if it's expanding, you definitely want to take care of it. Yeah, ask them what it is. That's the only way we can tell have an actual good analysis as to what you should do. There's some in there. I get stickers. I get stickers from my tattoos. Didn't help that I shipped just before Christmas. Yeah, Christmas and New Year's really mess things up. Our postal service is it's like in years past, during the holidays, they'd step up to the plate and they'd work extra hard. This year, everybody's added on, oh no, it's going to take a week and a half instead of a week. So yeah, I don't like this. Not liking this shift. Jeez. Well, we need more Chameleon Academy stickers, maybe a sticker pack. I made a sticker for the Chameleon Academy, the 10th anniversary. I can make more stickers. That would be fun. I think I should do that. So when, you know what, everybody, this is what I'm going to do. If I'm able to make a yearbook, I'm going to make a bunch of stickers and I'll throw the stickers in the yearbook. Feels like yearbook. What's going on? Yeah, actually, guys, I'm thinking about having a print yearbook for 2026 because there's so many things that we were going to be doing this year. From Madagascar, we probably having a meetup in the Reptarium, and there are things that I have planned that I haven't talked about yet. And so there's a lot of things that are going to be going on, and we do stuff. We're doing so much as a community with our breeding projects and stuff. So I'm going to make a yearbook and it'll be available. People can buy it and put a bunch of stickers in it. So do you have an opinion on the lifespan of a male panther? Probably 10 years, 7 to 10 years. I got your bioactive large atrium stand and had doored sides and floor put in. Love to send you pics. Such a great setup with the large atrium cage. Send them to bill@chameleonacademy.com. Yeah, send them. Are you excited to go back to Madagascar? Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. It is. It's kind of daunting when you're getting ready. I don't like getting ready. I don't like preparing and packing and all that kind of stuff, but I'm very excited about being there. I got to tell you, everybody, I have a big list of things that I want to do. I know I can write podcasts anywhere and record them anywhere, but there's something special about writing/recording in Madagascar. There's just something authentic about it. And so it's almost like it's a pilgrimage for me to go back to Madagascar and create content there. And so, yeah, Geraldine and Tony, you'll notice me sitting there. I'll be recording stuff and I'll be sitting there looking up at the sky and writing things because there's just something special about doing that. There's something authentic about doing it in Madagascar. And so, yeah, Mike, it's kind of a pilgrimage for me. Yeah. Release a yearbook, the yearly meetup. We all bring our yearbooks. We can all sign it and give everyone well wish. That is a great idea. That is such a good idea. Oh. Can you take the parasite course and do well between 3 and 4 weeks? Alicia, are you asking if you can be proficient in 3 to 4 weeks? The answer is absolutely. It's actually not that hard to do what we need to do with the parasites and microscopes. It's really not that hard. You just have to know what to do. It's not intuitive. When you're putting together smears and floats, it's not intuitive. It takes special equipment. But once you know how to do it, it's actually pretty simple. So you could do it within a week. If you said, okay, this week I'm going to figure it out. That's what the class is for. I do not make my classes to show off how much knowledge I have. I make my classes so you are successful. And so that I make it as simple as possible. And it's step 1, 2, 3, 4. So yes, 3 to 4 weeks, no problem. No problem. Although I've got a lot of people here in the chat. How did you find the people who have actually gone through the course? Tell Alicia, how was it? And the thing is, Alicia, we have the community, and so you can post to that community forum your questions and say, hey, this is what I see, and you get feedback, and so you're not alone doing it. And we'll talk and we'll help you through it. Should I dust all my chameleon food like hornworms and houseflies? We all say we do, but how much? This is where we need another chameleon scientist. How much of that is too much? We don't know. So I dust calcium. Yeah, I do, but I'm not going to say that your chameleon's going to die if you don't. We just don't know. But I do. So excited for your photos and podcasts. I miss it so much. Yeah, Mike, I have, oh man, one day, you know what, Mike, you are a content creator. You would understand. If you ever, one day you want to sit and talk about this, I will go over my journey. It has been quite a journey, and I have finally figured out what I want to do with my life. And so the next 2 years are going to be seismic in the Chameleon Academy. I'm going in that direction, and I am not going on the path more traveled. So yeah, the next 2 years are going to be significant. Ooh, my lights just went out. Do you ever out calcium or some nutrient into the water? I don't put calcium in the water. I've not experimented with that. With chameleons, it's a little bit difficult because we spray leaves and stuff like that. So, oh yeah, and Mike, it would be good talking to you. So I haven't experimented with the water. It's kind of difficult with chameleons, but someone out there is going to be experimenting with it, and I imagine it would work. So, all right. As Ann said, it was so easy. I was overwhelmed with the idea of the microscope, but like I said, super helpful community. Yes, and Eliza Ann had it difficult because she had a bunch of clean chameleons and wasn't able to find parasites to begin with. So she kept thinking, am I doing it wrong? No, you just have healthy animals. Yeah, you see that. So Alicia, you're going to get to the point where you're disappointed if your animals are completely healthy. Yeah, our priorities are a little bit messed up. Mike says, I always keep going back to the course when I'm looking through the microscope. Always great to keep handy. And yeah, and Alicia, there is on the first lesson, there is a downloaded file that is actually a book. There is an ebook as in the first lesson. If any of you who are in the parasite course haven't seen this, if you go to the first lesson, there's a tab that says files. You press on the files and you will get a downloadable ebook that is a great reference. It's meant to be a reference while you're taking the class, and while you're looking through the microscope, you can say, oh, okay, let me go and reference it. It's like a summary of everything. And so if you haven't downloaded that, go back to the course and download that and take a look. And I will say it is helpful. It should be helpful. So I need some Amazon suggestions on a microscope. Alicia, go to the course. The course tells you, it even has links for a good microscope, and it tells you exactly how to go. And if there's any question, go to the forum, go to the parasite forum, and we will help you. Just go to that. If you have any questions, go to that forum. We will help you. Jan says, I love the course. Yay. Thank you. Winnie B says the Amscope M150 is probably one of the cheapest. Price-wise, you'll find it Amazon. Very nice entry level. Yeah, and guys, this is what's perfect about parasites. They are relatively large, especially the nematodes. So the things that we need a microscope for are so basic, it's like really easy to find cheap microscopes. And as soon as you know what to look for, I just need a stage that moves, and I just need this magnification in the eyepiece and the objective, and I need a light that comes from the bottom, not the top. And once you know those basics, you can go onto your classifieds, your local classifieds, and you can find these used microscopes that the schools aren't using anymore, because we don't need big fancy stuff on the microscopes to look for parasites. So it's really, it can be very cost effective. Now, of course, the better the microscope, the better the experience. That just happens. And if you want to be able to digitally take pictures, which I do, everybody does, then it just becomes a little bit more expensive, either for the adapter or for the camera. So you decide what you want to do, and yeah, the camera actually is. I've actually put my phone up to the actual the microscope. I've done that before, so you can do that, and it is surprisingly effective. So if you want to start off very cheap, start off very cheap. You can always get a more expensive microscope. I got four microscopes now. I finally found the one I like, the Motique BA310, which is kind of an expensive one, but I found a really good deal on eBay. Yeah, eBay is good. Once you can figure out what you want, number one, there's a lot of great inexpensive ones on Amazon. But then if there's one that you really like and you say, yeah, this is the one I want, then you can go on eBay and find it pretty easy, somewhat cheap. Janet says, I feel like a real scientist every time I look at poop or pond water. Oh, everybody. Once you say, okay, wait a minute, what else can I look at? You start looking at pond world. The microscopic world is huge. It's amazing what's out there. It is an entire world in itself with different species, amazing creatures. And so you will get sucked up into that world. It is a world that is as diverse as this macro world that we are in. So yeah, we're looking for little parasites, but I tell you, it opens up an entire new experience, and it's really a little bit overwhelming when you realize how diverse the world is and how much is going on at the microscopic level. All in that little drop of water. Imagine you got the entire lake. It's universes in there. So yeah, there is so much that our love for reptiles exposes us to. It's amazing. So, Tom. Well, hello, Tom. Everybody say hello to Tom. Tom's coming in at the end. Actually, Tom, I am 13 minutes over, but I am making up for being late. I was late on the last show. I literally forgot that I was supposed to do a show on last Tuesday, a week ago. And so for every minute that I'm late, I have to give 3 minutes. My community decided that. I didn't decide that. They decided that. Yeah. I told you about these people on YouTube. It's like a mob. It's a mob. Okay. So, but oh yeah, the tardigrade. I would love to find a tardigrade. Whew. Okay. Did we get a show on Saturday? You did get a show on last Saturday. I was on last Saturday, but I'm not going to be on this Saturday. This is the last show that you're going to see me on until I get back at the end of January 31st. And so this is the last show. Now, if anybody is, I like that. 'Tis the way of the Chameleon Academy. Yeah, we've got a lot of lore going on here and a lot of world building. I don't know. Sometimes you don't even understand the how the world is put together and the dynamics of the world, but there is a rhyme and reason. There is a magic. Magic, do as you will. It is not a magic that has a strictly defined rules. Oh. All right. So now, everybody, I am. Ooh, Yeah, you can't get stuff by Eliza. She's, gosh, can't get stuff by Eliza. All right, so a question here. By the way, everybody, I am going to be going to the Reptile Super Show in Pomona this Saturday. So if anybody is going, I guess email me or something. We'll figure something out. I don't know when I'm going to be there. I have a friend coming in that I'm going to be meeting with, coming in from parts unknown, and I'm going to be meeting with, and it all centers around when he is available. Let's see. Tree Laird says, what, in your opinion, what are the implications of chameleon populations in the U.S.? Have you seen an effect on the trade market in the past? Are they likely to carry similar parasites to what we see in Madagascar? Wow, that's a lot of questions there. Implications of the chameleon populations in the U.S. Not really much. In Hawaii, they've got a problem with they say they've got a problem with chameleons eating the snails. I don't know, maybe, but they seem pretty worked up over it. So there's an implication there. As far as being in Florida, I don't know that the population is big enough to make a difference or healthy enough to make a difference. I mean, they're definitely there, but I don't know. I just don't know. There's so many other things that are getting attention and making waves over there that it'll be a while before we have time to worry about what the chameleons are doing. Have you seen an effect on the trade market in the past? Well, I mean, people are selling panther chameleons and veiled chameleons from Florida now, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen a whole lot of, it would be it would be an effect if, number one, the panthers were pure locale. Number two, if they were Parsons chameleons, but panther chameleons mixed locale, it's not going to affect the market much. Are they likely to carry similar parasites we see in Madagascar? They are likely to carry the Madagascar parasites and bring them over here. Now, whether those Madagascar parasites can infect the reptiles over here or not, to be determined, and probably parasite dependent. So, I mean, there are some parasites, pentastomes, that came in with snakes and now are decimating populations here. So it is something that we got to watch out for. How should I handle his tongue getting stuck on my finger when feeding? Sometimes he gets too excited and goes for it. Yeah, that's you got to angle it so they get the feeder. I've got one that always shoots up my finger. I don't know what it is. I just put my hand in there and he starts going for my finger. And I say, okay, what are you going to do about it? He actually shot my finger, stuck to it, and instead, since it wasn't coming back, he followed it in and bit my finger. So, yeah, some of those chameleons can be pretty. Anyway, now I put a feeder on the side of the cage, screen guide, or on a feeder run cup, and I get my fingers out of there. Yeah. All right. I don't know what. Looks like I've really been missing out on the parasite. Oh, parasites are so much fun. Come on over. Yes. Okay. Let me get through all of this. Chats here. All right, folks. I suppose I should start shutting down here. I will. Okay. When we get back, there's going to be a lot of stuff going on in the Chameleon Academy. And so hang tight. We're going to have a lot of fun in Madagascar, posting a lot of stuff. But when we get back, the podcast is starting back up. And you're going to have an upgrade in the app in February. And I'm going to work my butt off to get an Android version out. And so by the end of February, we should have a more fully featured Chameleon Academy app on both iPhone and Android. That is my goal by the end of February. So when I come back, you're going to get some podcasts. And I'm going to be working very hard on the app. Now, for next year, I'm probably going to do a monthly podcast because I am working hard on infrastructure. And you guys are saying, what does that mean? You'll find out. You will actually absolutely find out as we go through 2026. You're going to see new things come out throughout the year as I am able to implement them. And then in 2027, by that time, the infrastructure will be in place. Once that happens, 2027 is going to be a completely different year because there's going to be so much stuff that we can do. But I got to put it in place. So just be patient with me through 2026. Going to be a lot of cool stuff, but 2027 is when it's really going to be firing all cylinders. I am very excited. I am very excited. And so we've got a lot going on. You need a couple of days off when you get back. That's maybe I should have the first. You know what? You're right, guys. The first. Let's. Okay, James is right. I should not do a live session the day after the day I get back. So let's do this. Let's say that the season starts February 7th. That is reasonable. Everybody, February 7th is when we're going to start back up. You are right, James. Thank you very much for looking at me. And this, yes, everybody, remember all these malcontents sitting in the back of the class causing trouble? They look out for me. So you're right. Thank you very much. February 7th. February 7th. So, okay. My friends, next time I see you, we will be back from Madagascar, but if you are on the virtual campus, keep track on there. Me, Geraldine, and Tony are going to be posting lots of stuff on the virtual campus. And then people are wondering, what's the virtual campus? That's a membership group for Chameleon Academy. So if you want to support what I'm doing and kind of be in the inner circle, take a look at the virtual campus. You go to chameleonacademy.com. You can find out what that is. It's a membership site. It supports what I'm doing here. And that's where the course is. And Instagram stories. I'm going to be putting stuff on Instagram stories. So you'll get the fun stuff, the little pictures and little videos on Instagram, the stories, and more of the in-depth, more discussion stuff on the virtual campus where we're going to really get into a little bit more than just fun stories. So thank you, everybody, for making this a wonderful, wonderful season. And by the way, for those of you who are keeping track, I believe that this and how I went over the last one pays my debt. I have now paid back being late on last Tuesday. Just letting everybody know. So, all right, everybody. Thank you for being here. It's been wonderful. And I'll see you on the other side.